This is Jeff Brown's Classroom with Master Oogway again, and today we're going to talk about another topic about autism. Autistic communication is not awkward, it's a different culture. So it's good to learn that culture.
Very specific, so there's going to be a bit of a ceremony we have to do, but just stay cool.
If you were to have somebody walk up to you and start singing in the middle of the hallway at your workplace or school, then you might feel this is really awkward and kind of slowly back away.
A peaceful crossroads, diamond of the quadrants, Aladdin our home.
Hi, small child. Could you tell?
However, if you thought that person came from a different culture and then that was their culture's way of greeting, you might find that interesting and fascinating.
Carol, what is happening? Their language is song. Most of them won't understand you unless you sing. Come on.
I find it helpful to see autistic communication styles more of a culture. We have our own communication rules that go better with the way our brains work and makes us feel comfortable. Yes, I'm an autistic too.
What is she doing?
Oh, she's respecting the flow.
Now, if you see it more of a culture, you're not going to see it as awkward. You're going to see it just as a different style. And this style actually works just as well as neurotypical style.
I'm feeling so many feelings right now.
Here are a few of the rules of our culture. Autistics don't really like to small talk. It is, for a lot of us, literally painful, which is one of the reasons why I like to wear this t-shirt from time, although some people get offended by it, but it has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the way my brain works.
We only have to make small talk for
8 minutes and 45 seconds.
We better keep it impersonal. Acceptable topics include what constitutes a grain, the Hubble Space Telescope, orchid varietals, the birth of the transistor.
We only have to fill 8 minutes.
Sure, but think about it as 480 seconds, and you'll see why I'm concerned.
Oh my God. Another thing is that autistics don't often show emotion the same way as autistic people or non-autistics.
Wait. Before you say anything, I want to guess what happened based on your face. Someone died. No. You want a prize. I'm not getting better at this.
Guy's impossible to read. Don't even try.
That is without question the funniest story I've ever heard. There was a small fire in my home. I lost many photo albums of treasured memories. I'm devastated.
We don't tend to smile or hold all of our emotions on our face necessarily in the same way that other people do. So don't expect us to smile the same way other people do.
One could be more cheerful. But
Some of us have learned to speak autistic or non-autistic to try and fit in.
We need to talk.
okay, let's talk.
Oh, wait. He doesn't have to sing?
Yeah, he's bilingual.
But I have to tell you, that is extremely exhausting for the autistic brain. We call that masking. I have a video on that in a previous video. I'll link to that. But
I can't breathe in this thing!
But my best friends that I really feel comfortable around are people who I feel like I don't have to mask around, that I can be my autistic self without them feeling awkward or without them thinking I'm weird.
Good. He's gone. Now let's get serious and focus up. Just trying to get to the printer.
Luke, help me take this mask off.
Ah!
Now, go.
If you really want to light up an autistic, ask them about their special interest, which is something that they really like to talk about.
So, Penny, I understand you would like to learn more about flags.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've been at a party where everyone's talking about flags and I just couldn't join in.
Sometimes this triggers what we call an info dump where we'll keep talking. Now, we will not notice oftentimes whether you're uncomfortable or bored because that takes reading certain social cues.
Now the recorder is generally thought of as a training instrument for children, but listen to it. In the hands of an expert like Yoram Leifgrum, the passion is breathtaking.
Also, don't be offended if your autistic friend decides to cancel and decides to stay home. Living in a neurotypical world is oftentimes overwhelming for the nervous system of an autistic, and so sometimes we're just completely and totally burned out.
What?
The castle of...
What is dead?
He must have died while carving it.
Oh, come on.
Well, that's what it says.
Look, if he was dying, he wouldn't bother to carve arg.
Speaking of which, Master Igwe is actually exhausted right now, so he's taking a nap. The different social rules between autistics and non-autistics is oftentimes called the double empathy problem. It's studied a little bit, and it shows, again, that autistics understand other autistics pretty well. Autistics understand other autistics pretty well, but we have a hard time understanding each other.
That makes me feel sad. I'm sad.
Your sadness is noted.
I feel acknowledged. Thank you for breaking up with me. It will take me 8 minutes to collect my things.
Don't act annoyed if you have to point out certain things about Autistic culture that may seem obvious to you but is not obvious to them. That may include certain social rules, certain subtleties of communication, certain sarcastic comments, things like that.
That's right. I've been led to understand that tricks are exclusively for children. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, they say tricks are for kids in the commercials.
And is that enforced by law?
Not to my knowledge, no.
So if I purchase these tricks, there'll be no trouble?
No, you should be fine.
I won't forget what you've done for me here today.
I would prefer that you do.
So one thing I want to say is that I don't speak for all autistics. These are a few patterns that I found among autistics, but there is a saying among us, which is, if you've met one autistic, then you've met one autistic.
Drum roll, please. That's your drum roll?
When a tempo isn't specified, any reasonable person would default to lento.
Well, it's terrible and you ruined a fun thing.
Trust me.
Just remember that just because something is different doesn't mean that it's worse. It's just different.
Different, not less.
Different, but not less.
Taking the time to understand autistic culture, I think, is well worth it because you can have some amazing friendships with autistic people. I feel like some of the most funny people, kind and caring and loving and interesting people are oftentimes autistics. So please, get to know the culture a little bit and you'll learn how to understand each other in a much better way.
Thank you for acknowledging my feelings.
Thank you for acknowledging mine.
We're both great at this.
Master Way, just want to remind you to subscribe and like and check out my website, jeffbrownsclassroom.com. I got all kinds of good stuff there.
Don't worry, I am good at emotion.